Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dumb and Dumbest podcast with my beautiful, wonderful, radiant, receding hairline, glorious, gracious co-host Curtis Dewar.
Someone who has not been talked about by Dave Mustaine like Matt.
And me, Matt Bacon, as brought to you by Dave Mustaine. We found out literally the second before we went on the air that Dave Mustaine has talked about me on his Gimme radio show.
Well, Dave spoke highly, apparently.
He did speak highly of me, apparently, which is very, very bizarre because I do not know Dave Mustaine. I met him twice, and the second time was very awkward.
Tying his shoes, and Matt did, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I don't actually know how to tie shoes. That's not a joke.
You don't know how to what?
I don't know how to tie. I've worn cowboy boots for the last 3 years.
But I didn't hear what you don't know how to tie shoes. Is that what you said?
I learned how to tie shoes when I was 16 in math class from my friend Leo.
That's hilarious. I didn't learn until I was like 10 or 11, and I was like the last kid. That's funny.
and then I started wearing cowboy boots, so I forgot how to tie my shoes.
That's awesome.
I only had like 3 years of my life where I knew how to tie shoes.
Huh. So anyways, Matt went and tied or shined Dave Mustaine's shoes that time, and continue the story.
I did not shine his shoes. We meeting backstage,
bowed down,
hanging out with the
bowed
squad.
down. Mustaine, I love you. Yeah.
I don't like Dave Mustaine at all. My friend Laura Gladstone, who runs Belmont Theater, she's seen them like 70 times. I don't like Megadeth. I've probably seen them like 5 times with her. Just because
I love Megadeth.
I'm sorry. I mean, I realize you have bad taste, but
Megadeth is the greatest of all time, next to Stryper. Well, actually, they're probably better than Stryper. I'll give them that much.
Okay, Curtis Dewar, Megadeth is better than Stryper.
Yeah, I said it here.
I'm sure that's what the praise Dave is looking for.
Well, didn't Dave do something? No, he didn't do something with Stryper. I think he did something with one of the Stryper members' kids or something, but neither here nor there.
Anyway, today, Curtis, we were going to talk about
gimmicks. And what did we just use?
Yeah, and obviously I'm someone who has a gimmick.
His real name is not Bacon, if anybody didn't know that.
Well, that's one gimmick. The cigars are a gimmick. The rings are a gimmick.
His face is a gimmick.
My face is not a gimmick. But guess what? They help establish a brand, so it's good.
Matt has that mobster manager thing going for him. The Leisure Suit Larry thing going.
The what?
Leisure Suit Larry. You never heard of the computer game Leisure Suit Larry?
No, I am familiar.
Yeah, that's you. You just need the suit.
I've considered wearing a suit like constantly.
You need like the cheesy suit.
Yeah, like a zoot suit.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, that's Matt's persona. It's a gimmick, and he's not really like this. He's actually a nice young kid that lives with his parents.
I don't live with my parents. I have a very nice apartment in Brooklyn. I have a sunbed and a breakfast nook. Thank you very much.
I know I'm kidding around, but at least I think you do. I'm told that's true. I mean, maybe you're like Bacon, and I don't know.
Maybe I've been Airbnb-ing an apartment every time a band comes over.
You could be. Maybe it's it's like a movie set or something like that. It's all fake. I don't know.
Regardless, I think it's important to have gimmicks because they differentiate you. They make you special. They make people remember who you are.
I agree. Now, let me define what I refer to as a gimmick. I don't just mean outlandish type things, although you can use those. But like memes, how we talked about the other day, assuming you uploaded the podcast, would be a gimmick. Also, another thing is a gimmick could be like a special edition of your album. Could be a gimmick. Different types of posts that you do could be a gimmick. There's all sorts of things you can use as a gimmick.
Or, Kiss.
Their whole brand is a gimmick, and it's an amazing gimmick.
It's the greatest gimmick, or even if you want like something more serious, Gwar.
You call them more serious than Kiss?
More serious than Kiss, yeah. But like if you want something on the underground that's real and has a gimmick, like okay, and then you can get then you say Slipknot, okay, but you want something fucking underground and evil, black metal.
Yeah, we're at 99.9% gimmicky. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like come on. Like, I think corpse paint is cool, but I also realize it's kind of a gimmick.
The whole thing is a gimmick. Burning down the churches and the whole 9 yards of it's all a gimmick.
But it comes from a genuine place.
The original ones did, maybe, but nowadays, I mean, all of them are ultra, politically correct, or they're ultra far right, nationalistic, something or other, right? They're not. It's not the same as it was at one point. It's like at one point it was just like we hate religion and this is our gimmick. Now it's like we hate right politics or we hate left politics. This is our gimmick.
Yeah, I'm just about the mountains in Norway where the weather's cold.
Yeah, and then you got stuff like Immortal and Abath or Abath, however you say his name.
Immortal, great gimmicky band. Their entire Blastrik Chronicles and all that, super gimmicky. Again, these are the things that differentiate, and that's sort of the key. Is like you need to have a differentiating factor.
Yeah.
And once you have a differentiating factor, you just need to push it all the way to the fucking limit.
Or reversely, if you don't want to be a gimmicky band, then you got to figure out a way to blend in, but still make yourself stand out enough that you still can get success. So you either want to blend in or you want to have a gimmick, one of the two.
But or even if you blend in, you want to have something that distinguishes you.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the problem I think a lot of bands are facing is they don't have a distinguishing factor.
I agree.
And they're afraid of doing anything distinguishing at all because any of it might feel gimmicky. And like at the end of the day, I don't fucking care.
Well, here's one good example right here. One thing that a lot of people don't like to point out nowadays, just for PC factor wise, but is a good gimmick to use, is the use of a female fronted band. It's a great gimmick, always works. And it is a gimmick. You could, if it's not a gimmick, that's fine. But if you use it as a gimmick, it works great.
It does, but I also think that I don't think a lot of people are taking Epica seriously when she's making merch that's literally like her fucking splayed out on a bed.
Well, of course not, but that's their gimmick, right? That is their gimmick. And she's aware of that. She knows that.
Simone, absolutely. She absolutely, Simone Simmons absolutely knows that her sexualization of herself is
that's fine. Yeah, and that's what she's fine with doing, and she's selling albums with it, and she's selling out theaters and stuff like that, and getting on big tours. She's doing what she wants to do. I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
good for her.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Absolutely. So, okay. So point being, have a gimmick. Find the thing that differentiates you and push it all the way to the limit. A great example of this on the underground is Great Electric Quest. They wanted to have a different live show. They pushed it all the way. Now they have a phenomenal live show. The swinger T-Sweat breaks out a flag that he fucking waves around the stage.
Oh, does he? See, I don't know these things. I know the band. I don't know anything about their live show, but yeah.
Like you go to a Great Electric Quest show and you're going to have a good time. Like they're a rock and roll band.
Now, what about somebody that's on a budget, Matt? What would you suggest would be a good gimmick for them?
Well, again, Great Electric Quest are on a budget, but they just go for it. They have like a paper mache mask they use.
Oh, really?
Like that's like an Anubis head. That's really cool. I'm sure the flag didn't cost them that much money.
What is an Anubis, may I ask?
Like a wolf head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
You know what I mean? Like these are the things that differentiate. This is how you you have to put work in, but like look at whatever you think. Well, a question I always used to like bands when I was doing more journalism stuff is what is your favorite why do you think people are attracted to your music? Right? And if you can't answer that, you have an issue. However, if you can answer that, take whatever that answer is and make it glaringly obvious for people.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What do you think the gimmick is, for example? What was the gimmick for the Beatles, Matt?
Their haircuts were totally unique.
Totally. What about after they got out of the cute boy band stage into the hit stage?
After they got out, again, they were pretty brazen with a lot of the stuff they did.
Yeah. Goofy lyrics, too. I mean, intelligent yet goofy lyrics.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Is that the lyrics worked on multiple levels, the
Yeah.
songwriting worked on multiple levels.
Yeah.
They had Quincy Jones working with them, who is probably the greatest American musician. Period.
Oh, the Beatles did. I could be wrong on that, but
What?
Beatles didn't have Quincy Jones, did they?
Yeah, Quincy Jones was in the studio with them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. New news to me.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, you're thinking of Michael Jackson, aren't you?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Quincy Jones worked with.
What's his name? Wallace Spector. That was Beatles. I don't think it was Quincy Jones. You're thinking of Phil Spector, I think.
Am I thinking of Phil Spector? Okay.
Yeah.
Any point being, I'm gonna be looking at this while we talk. But
Sure.
regardless, you have Quincy Jones. They had. There was a lot of differentiating factors about the Beatles. They wrote their own songs. That in and of itself was a differentiating factor. That didn't really happen
Not back
in that
then.
period.
Yeah, because they were at first they did a bunch of covers, I think, and then yeah.
Like the Beatles pretty radically changed the face of music. Never use them. Never compare yourself to them, and never use them as an example, because at the end of the day, they're some of the most talented musicians in the history of the world, and
they're even better than Black Sabbath at times.
No, I don't particularly like the Beatles because they don't fit into my tastes.
I like them myself, but yeah.
But I'm not going to deny that like they're the reason people play original songs, and it's not just all like covers of standards and stuff.
They're the reason for Black Sabbath.
They are the reason for Black Sabbath. This is true.
Ozzy has said that many times. They're also the reasons for Kiss. Gene Simmons has said that many times.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
had good gimmicks too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's think of some other good examples of gimmicks.
Like again, it's very hard, I think, to look at older bands and try to figure out what their gimmick is, because in a lot of cases, like, you don't realize that when those bands were doing it, they were like coming out of fucking left field.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to other records that came out in 1970 and then you listen to Black Sabbath, like holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same with like Coven, who are a band who dropped off the face of the earth for basically 40 years, but we're still remembered, not just because they're the first not just because they had a bassist named Ozzy Osbourne and they had a song called Black Sabbath well before the Black Sabbath we all know and love formed, but also because they were the first record ever to have Hail Satan written on it. They were they were so fucking ridiculously out of left field that people like couldn't ignore them, and they've remained a cult phenomenon for 45 years, so that when they came back in 2017, people knew who they were.
I didn't even know they were back.
Oh, okay. Well, they're back. And they're playing to like 1,000-person rooms.
Not surprised.
Because they, that resonated with me when I was a little kid. I flew to fucking Holland to see this band. Because, and again, and it's not a gimmick in this, like Jinx Dawson was legitimately a witch. Like, she legitimately was involved in that, but they took that thing that made them different and just pushed it to an extreme that freaked out the record label, that was viewed as completely inappropriate for the time, and fucking owned it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, another more modern example, good example in my opinion, is Blasphemy, with their powerlifting not stereotype, what's the right word I'm looking for, gimmick that they have, which is legit at the same time, right?
Yeah. Gimmick's almost the wrong word. It's almost a differentiating factor.
Yeah,
but again,
it is a gimmick, but it's not at the same time, because it's legitimately them, to my understanding. But they play it up, right? Like they're powerlifting, black metal, evil guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's sort of the thing is it has to come from a genuine place.
Yeah.
Like even Gwar comes from like a genuine, real place.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also aware of who and what they are and who and what they represent. You know what I'm saying?
Gore is a good example, but not a good example at the same time because, I mean, they're like a 30-year, basically comic book characters, like going on and on and on and on and on and on, right? But
yeah, but that's what makes them so interesting is that
they're a brand, is what they are.
yeah, but they commit to the brand, and the brand is usually what resonates with people.
I agree. Yeah,
it's very rare that there's a song where you can't affiliate any sort of brand with it.
Yeah.
Like if I hear 2 bars of any Led Zeppelin song, I can close my eyes and like to see. There's 2 pictures of Led Zeppelin that immediately come to mind. 3 actually. One of Robert Plant being a golden god. One of Jimmy Page with the double neck guitar, and the artwork for A Song Remains the Same.
What about Tuna Fish, Matt?
What? Oh God! Did I walk into something?
You don't know the Tuna Fish? Look, Google Led Zeppelin Tuna Fish.
This better not be about like.
It's a groupie story.
Jesus. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now. That's not Curtis. Curtis, this is a family podcast. This is awesome. A family podcast.
Oh,
anyway,
I threw Matt off.
We're heading towards the end.
Hashtag Tuna Fish Matt Bacon.
What would you like to plug, Curtis?
Well, okay, so there's a couple things I'd like to plug. Number one is I want to plug Matt just because of the fact that he's doing such a great job with people that I've referred to him in the last month. I've heard nothing but good things about him from literally anybody that I've talked to that I've referred to. So if you're interested in working with him, even for just the bio, his bios are phenomenal. They're only $50 if you say that you listen to the podcast. Also, he does great social media feedback. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I think that's also $50, right?
$50 a month, yes.
$50 a month, yeah. And then he has another band tune-up service, which is like $750, something like that. And
$750, yeah.
He does a great job with that. If you want more information, hit him up. That's all I'm going to plug for right now because I keep hearing amazing things about him. So I'm just going to say that. That's it.
Well, then I'm going to plug you, Curtis.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
Because a lot of my relationships are just built on people being like, oh, I need PR. And then they think I do PR, but I don't do PR because I have Curtis. Mm-hmm. And so then I introduce them to Curtis, and they're like, oh, wow, thank you so much. You rule. Mm-hmm. And then they think I'm cool. And
then they find out the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Then they find out about my passion for Jimmy Buffett and tuna fish. Oh, now. So, as long as you can avoid the Jimmy Buffett tuna fish situation, it'll all be good.
Oh, and there's one other thing I want to plug I forgot about. So today
okay. I thought I was going to be special this episode, but evidently there's another thing.
You are special, but I just remembered something. I have a compilation that I'm doing. I used to do compilations, and I decided I'm going to do another one for the fall. So I'm looking for 10 tracks from 10 bands. It's going to be, I don't know where I'm going to get it streamed, but it'll be streamed on a site somewhere. It's going to be a Bandcamp, free download, streamed on a site. If you want to participate, hit me up by emailing me or just Facebook messaging me or the dewarpr page or something like that. If you don't know how to reach me, message Matt, and I'm sure he can tell you how to reach me. But I need 10 tracks from 10 bands. I've already gotten like 4 messages about this in the last half an hour. So assuming those are good tracks, I only need 6 more spots left to fill. And yeah, that's it.
How much will that cost my band to get involved?
Oh, $0. All you're getting, I'm just doing this for free, no strings attached. If I like the music, I'm going to put you on there. It's free PR. I'll be sending a press release out, so you'll get some exposure. It's good for you. Doesn't really do much for me other than the fact it gets my name out there. But yeah, and it helps you guys.
There you go. Thank you so much, Curtis, for doing that for us. You're such a kind man.
I am such a kind man. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been.
Are we done yet or what?